There is a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world, and that's why I am on the trail of the Nephilim. The Genesis 6 narrative states that the Nephilim are on the earth in those days and also afterwards. If that's true, can we find evidence that corroborates this? I'm L.A. Marzulli. Join me as we go on the trail of the Nephilim. I am your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. This is another episode of On the Trail of a Nephilim. I think you'll find it interesting, but first, a word from our trusted sponsor. The U.S. dollar has lost 85% of its value since the 1970s when the dollar decoupled from gold, and the government seems bent on continuing the tradition. From now until after the next elections, the government can print as much money as they want. The last time they did that, folks, inflation went up 9%. This means one thing: the security of your future and your family's future is all in your hands. Make sure you freeze the value of your wealth you are holding. Invest in gold with Noble Gold Investments. Gold is the one asset that is proven to withstand recession, inflation, and just about all economic threats. Noble Gold Investments is here to help you if you want to invest in gold. You will also get a 24-karat quarter-ounce gold standard coin for free. Folks, go to noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Tell them you heard it on L.A. Marzulli's show. We believe in it. We've invested a portion of our life savings in gold, and boy, folks, I am glad we did. So Fritz Zimmerman and I have been in communication for the last couple of weeks. We're hooking up again towards the end of the month and filming. Of course, there's no place like Nerkahaya, and that's where we will be staying and headed and filming there. There's a bunch of us actually coming into the area to film, and I'll just leave it at that. But I think you'll find this interesting. And once again, I have to tip my hat to Fritz Zimmerman, our good friend and battle buddy. If it wasn't for Fritz's book and Russ Dizdar pointing me to Fritz's book, there'd be no show here. But Russ saying to me years ago, L.A., where are you going? I go, I'm going to Newark, Ohio. He starts laughing. And I've told the story before. He goes, no, L.A., where are you really going? I go, Newark, Ohio. Are you by your computer? Yes, I am. Google Fritz Zimmerman, Nephilim Chronicles, Fallen Angels in the Ohio Valley. I went, what? I ordered the book immediately. I got the PDF file so I could read it on the plane, and the rest is history. And that's over a decade ago now that happened. So Fritz sent me this article, and when we interview Fritz in the coming weeks here, towards the end of the month, right after the Go Therefore conference, we're going to be talking about this. This is from Indianapolis News, November 11th, 1967, Jennings County, Indiana. Remains of vanished giants found in state. And this is right around the time where NAGPRA, Native American Grave Protection and Repatriation Act, is put into place. So you can't see the skeletons anymore. But my pushback to this is, I get that. It's if it was my Uncle Albert, isn't that a Beatles song, Paul McCartney? But if it was Uncle Albert, let's get him reburied. I get that. But what if it's not Uncle Albert? What if it's a 9-footer? Then we're into a whole different deal. Okay? So here we go. One of the strangest contributions ever to come to hand tells of the existence in what is now Indiana, long before statehood and even before the Indians came here, of a mysterious giant mound builders race whose men were more than 9 feet tall. I pause for effect, but seriously, let's continue. Okay, let's continue. What's more, the contributor of this odd information, Helen W. Ox of Columbus, Indiana, wrote that the evidence of their one-time existence here still remains near Brewersville, Jennings County. She quoted from a geological report many years ago on Jennings County by W. W. Borden that the remains of the largest work of those mound builders in that country were to be seen on the bluffs 75 to 100 feet above Sand Creek in Sand Creek Township, the report added. So this is a long time ago. It is a stone mound 71 feet in diameter. We've seen stone mounds before. They are really, really interesting, but I continue. It's a stone mound about 71 feet in diameter, showing at this time a height of 3 to 5 feet above the surrounding surface. The exterior walls appeared to be made of stones placed on edge, but the central portion did not show any regular arrangement of the stones. Mrs. Oakes said, the first discovery of a human skeleton remains in that mound was made in 1865. So this is a long time ago, okay? When a farmer getting stone for a spring house dug into a sort of tomb in which he found the skeleton of a small child. She quoted George M. Robinson, his son, as saying the top of the mound was not less than 30 feet above the level of the surrounding ground. He added, I well remember that several large forest trees were growing on the top. One was a white oak tree, not less than 3 feet in diameter at the base. So that's about 3 feet in diameter. That's a really old tree. So this mound has to be more than what, 200 years old? 150, 200, 300 years old? The only way to do that, of course, would be to count the rings on the trees. But an oak tree that thick, it's got to be over 100 years. So now we're back. And just think about this, that mound is more than likely pre-Columbian. In my opinion, it's definitely pre-Columbian. So what are we looking at here, folks? So let's continue. Discovery of the child's skeleton aroused much curiosity, causing several people to dig into the top of the mound and resulting in the finding of several other skeletons. Some of them were bound with perfectly preserved bands of cedar wrapped around their chests, while others were charred, perhaps in observance of a religious rite. Weapons found with the skeletons were unlike those used by Indians. She quoted Robinson further as saying that no intelligent investigative work was conducted there until 1879, 14 years after the discovery of the mound. He continued. The state geologist brought a couple of men here, one from Cincinnati and one from New York. And with Dr. Charles Green of North Vernon, they made quite an extensive examination. Among other things found was the skeleton of a man. It was intact, or rather, I might say, the bones were not scattered. So it's not a disarticulated bone pile. It's a complete skeleton, just like we have in our On the Trail book here, where Ralph Glidden is standing in that recently excavated grave, and in front of him, in situ, is a 9-footer. So what are we to make of this? Now, here we go. Among other things were found was the skeleton of a man. It was intact, or rather, I might say, the bones were not scattered. It measured 9 feet 8 inches. So when you take articles like this and you throw them up against the modern day archaeological world, this is what you get. This is the reply you get. Oh, they didn't know how to measure. They were just trying to sell papers. That's called deflection. Those are all straw man arguments. There it is. There it is right there. Those are straw man arguments. Giants roamed the earth. The Nephilim were here. This is a report. I'm just reading it. I'm just reading this report. What are we to make of this? We have proof. But here's the deal. When Cyrus Thomas came in and he basically stated, oh, we've done all the research. We've tested everything. And these are all Amerindians. These are all Native American. Not so fast. Not so fast. Let me go back and read this again here. Weapons found with the skeletons were unlike those used by Indians. So is Helen Oakes making this all up? And the fact that it measured 9 feet 8 inches? Look, folks, people know how to measure with a tape measure. And when this is done in 1879, they have tape measures in 1879. Trust me. And if the skeleton is intact and it's not a disarticulated bone pile, what are we to make of this? And in 1879, there's still all this discussion about, wait a minute, maybe Native Americans didn't build these mounds. Maybe there's a lost race that was here. Oh, no. And this is the work of Cyrus Thomas at the 20th century. He dismissed it all, and we just a sense of finality when he states that, oh, it's all Amerindians, it's all Native Americans, nothing to see here, keep moving. And this has been the status quo. This has been what Cyrus Thomas put in place. This is the paradigm in which modern day archaeology runs in. This is it. Runs on, I should say. This is it. This is what they do. So continuing here, there was sort of a necklace of mica lying around the neck and down across the breast. At the feet stood a sort of image made of burnt clay with pieces of flint rock embedded in it. Robinson kept that image and some of the bones. Mrs. Oakes said that as late as 1937, bones of that giant were in a basket in the office of the Keller Mill along Sand Creek, about a mile below the mound site. Kenneth Keller, the grandson of Robertson, remembers that basket of bones. He said the bones were lost when the 1937 flood washed out the office. Robinson, who told of seeing the huge skeleton exhumed, added that according to the men of science who were there, they were the remains of a white race that inhabited that part of the country before the advent of the red men. He said that there were no signs of anything like pottery, no signs of metalworking of any kind, just simply the bones of a dead and gone race of human beings that we today know practically nothing about. We know not whence they came or where they went. Mrs. Ox said that the giant-like race had worked hard to entomb its dead. The rocks in the mound had been placed end to end with no attempt to plaster or seal them together. She continued, evidence that this mound was dug into has washed out until one time graves now were smooth. She said Edith Hale, a retired school teacher, remembered the bones. It's just amazing. You know, we hear stories like this. We know from First Nation people, Native Americans, that the tribes fought against the 9-footers. We know that on Catalina Island, as I said earlier, the remains of a 9-footer were there. People in 1879 could read a tape measure, and to say that they mismeasured is an insult to these people's intelligence. There is a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world. I will be at the Go Therefore conference. I'll be speaking about the burgeoning UFO phenomena. Hope to see you there. You can register and get tickets. Also, in August, I think it's like the middle of the month, go to our website, lamarzulli.net. Check that out. I'll be at Larry Olson's church, and I'll be speaking Friday, all day Saturday, and partly Sunday. So I'm excited about those two conferences. You have to register. Please do so. Hope to see you there. Don't forget our 5 DVD box set is now available, lamarzulli.net, lamarzulli.net. And if you've got stories of here's the deal. I believe that there's some family somewhere in the Midwest that still has a 9-footer in the barn. I really do. That, their great-great-great-grandfather dug the thing up and, yeah, we kept it in the spring house. Yeah, we kept it in the back of the barn in a box. Somebody's got them. If that's you, shoot me an email. la@lamarzulli.net, la@lamarzulli.net. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button. We're nearing up towards 200,000 people. Wow. Thanks so much for coming here. We appreciate your patronage and your support. We'll see you back tomorrow with another UFO update.